Alright, so last weekend was the Star City Games Standard Classic in Richmond, and that's one of the first big standard tournaments with the new set. And you can see Grixis control here and here got first and third, and also down here at 14th as well. So out of the top 16, they have 3 showings, and they got first and third. And today I've been playing with this Grixis control. They're slightly different, but this is the list I've been playing with. I basically just copied and pasted this card for card into Arena, and I've played 10 games so far and ladder with it. And on ladder, as you can see, I'm platinum. I reset to platinum, and yeah, I basically just broke even. So I played 10 matches, and I won 5, lost 5, and I won 13 games and lost 12 games. So I have exactly 50% win rate and a 52% game win rate. So we're just going to go down card for card. Discovery Dispersal. This, I always cast Discovery. I thought about casting Dispersal a couple times, but they always just had a land or something in their hand that I didn't know I would hit. So I was just Discovered. You basically get to find a card you need out of the top 3 of your deck if you need a land. Then it's either land or to filter out lands is why I've been casting Discovery. Thought Erasure, it's a staple in pretty much any deck that runs these colors. Helps you filter through your deck, takes away one of their cards that'll give you trouble later. Angrath's Rampage, I side this out about half the time if they against control. Sometimes I leave it in for the Planeswalker. But this is a good card to have main deck, but look to side it out against decks that are light on creatures. This one as well, I often side this out, or sometimes I've kept it in and I've bedazzled something like a Search for Azcanta. But other than that, you're really just casting Bedeck. Narset is very good. It's a card draw engine. It's kind of like Divination, except you get to choose non-land spells that you get to pick. And the clause, each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn, is actually more relevant than I thought against decks, even like mono red, where they cast a risk factor. So even against mono red, if you have Narset out, they can't draw cards with risk factor, so it shuts that down. And against other decks, played Is It Drakes one time, they can't draw extra cards. Charter Course in mono blue or the Phoenix deck. So it's actually more relevant than you think, and you can just let it sit at 1 life and not really care too much if it dies or not, and it's kind of up to your opponent to kill it. Carnarium, it's basically a staple against early aggressive decks. Now again, look to side this out if they don't have many creatures, or if they're running big creatures. Bedevil is very good because it can hit planeswalkers, and a lot of the larger planeswalkers you do want to hit with Bedevil, even though they get an activation, like Liliana or Ugin that we have in our deck. So in the mirror, it's good. Hits all the creatures, everything you want to hit. This takes care of. And Ritual of Soot is kind of just a bigger Cry of the Carnarium. This hits everything with 2 power. This basically will hit all your opponent's aggressive creatures and all tokens, while Cry of the Carnarium cannot handle some tokens, like if they have a mass or something like that. Nicol the Ravager is very good. I only flipped him once in the 13 games, and I promptly won short after that. I flipped him. I used his -4 to get, I think it was my Ugin back, and then I used the Ugin to destroy the creature. And then I think I shot him for 10 and just won. One with something else. I actually don't know. I'm making stuff up. But I think they killed him because he died shortly after that. Enter the Gauntlet Journals is also very good. 4 damage, kills a lot of relevant targets. It doesn't hit a lot of the gods, like either the white god or the new blue one. I forget their names. But it does hit a lot of good creatures. And gaining 4 life is very relevant, especially against aggro. Mono red, mono white. And gaining 4 life is very good, and 4 damage kills basically any of their creatures, and you have a blocker. So it's kind of like you're getting a lot of value out of this card. Life killing something and a creature. I did win a game once when I had like 2 or 3 of these. I just chained together and had a 8/8 and a 12/12. I just bashed him shortly after that. Yeah, the mill has never really been relevant. Usually you should just target yourself, because some decks have cards like Jumpstart or other stuff that has graveyard interaction. Nicol, the Dragon God, is kind of the biggest card in the new set in my mind. And here we run 4 of them. And with our mana, I've played him pretty consistently on curve. There's been one game where I didn't have the triple black. There's one game I didn't have the triple black, and that was a problem. But all of the times I've been fine. You kind of gotta make sure to play your black lands first, or shock him in for the 3rd black. And he's very good. Even sometimes when you just play him and draw a card and they kill him, you don't get too much value, and you're usually behind then. When destroying a creature or planeswalker isn't relevant, like if you just Ritual of Soot the turn before, and you're playing against burn, you're kind of digging for Enter the God Eternals or something, instant speed that can deal with creatures or spells that they play. I'm going to talk about the next 2 cards together, Liliana and Ugin. I feel they fill kind of the same role. They both make 2/2s, and they both draw cards when the 2/2s die. The difference with Ugin is that he sticks around more. And I think Liliana is better to have 2 of, because sacrificing 2 creatures is kind of a 2-for-1, while Ugin only shoots 1. Ugin can hit planeswalkers as well, so that is relevant, while Liliana can't, but you do get more value from them losing 2 creatures. But if they have 3, you get their 2 worst ones, while Ugin can hit their single best one. And lands, 2 swamps for these. Only 3 steam vents the list runs. Let me double check that. Yeah, it only runs 3 steam vents, so it's not my mistake in building the deck. Because kind of red is the least relevant color. Most of your cards you want to play are blue-black. Except you have Rampage, Bedevil, and Nicol Bolas are the only red sources you need. So it makes sense not to have 3. And then with the sideboard, again, Duress is good for aggro and burn. You can just take their burn spells. It's kind of like almost like pre-countering it. Moment of Craving, again, life gain versus burn. Carnarium, put another one in if they have just a lot of stuff you need to clear out. Legion Warboss, you can put these in, or I've put these in against other not aggressive decks. I've put these in against control decks as just a way to kind of go under them and surprise them and win. Onward Ego, this is very good against either control decks or Nexus decks. You either name Nexus itself, or you can name Wilderness Reclamation. Personally, the first one I've always just hit Nexus, and then Wilderness Reclamation with the second copy. Vraska's Contempt. Vraska's Contempt is not in the main deck. It's here on the sideboard if you do need to hit creatures or planeswalkers, and the exile is relevant. So like against red decks, stuff that the -2/-2 can't hit, or if you need more targeted stuff, and sacrificing just isn't enough. And the 3rd copy of Enter the God Eternals is, like I said, very good. When you do need the value, the life gain, the damage, and the creature, this is what you want to bring in. And yeah, so I actually like the deck, even though I'm only 5-5, just breaking even with it. It's a lot of fun to play, especially when you can curve out. Like Thought Erasure, turn 3, either play another 2-mana spell, deal with some of the creatures, and you can go Nicol Bolas, Planeswalker. It's just a lot of fun to play as well.